We have a quorum.
All right, everybody stand for Pledge of Allegiance. And Wes, would you mind leading us tonight?
Put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Be seated. Item number 1, presentations, open meeting law and parliamentary procedure training. The city attorney will provide the annual open meeting law and parliamentary procedure training to the board members.
I assume you guys are happy that I'm here, but okay with me sitting here. I think most of you have seen this presentation. I'm going to go through it real fast. If you have questions or want me to slow down, just let me know. Next slide. So open meeting law is basically just the state policy that all meetings have to be conducted in public. That helps inform the public of what's going on. It ensures that there's trust and some integrity in the proceedings, and all interpretations of the open meeting law need to be done as open as possible. So if I'm charged with interpreting something, I need to default to open as opposed to more restricted. Next. You as a public body are the persons that are required to comply with this this open meeting law. All the public's business must be conducted in public. Next. I've already said what this is, so let's go next. I've already told you guys are the public body, so let's go next. A meeting, as we've talked about in the past, it's a gathering here of a quorum, and that quorum can be done either in person or by electronic means such as phones, texting, email, Zoom. Could even involve social media. So you always want to be careful about what your presence is online and make sure you just avoid becoming into a quorum. That would include even commenting to a post or a like or something that would influence what your decisions could be. Next. 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 Try to do it fast. Splintering a quorum is just obviously separating the quorum to try and generate the information or provide the information, then moving on to the next one. Again, that's something we want to avoid because any of that information or those decisions shared to a quorum of the body then becomes an open meeting law violation. Next. Just standard, obviously we all know that we have to provide the public notice of these meetings. The minimum notice is 24 hours. Generally, we like to do more than 24 hours. Next. The agenda is what you have to abide by. You have to follow the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, you can't do it. The agenda must include the date, time, and location. We've noticed in the past sometimes we'll put the wrong time or something along that line. So if we don't correct it within 24 hours prior to that, we have to reschedule. And again, what's on the agenda is what you talk about. You need to stay on topic. If you deviate from that, the chairman or some of the staff try to help you guide you back into the agenda. Next. I already said that. Next. Call to the public. Obviously, we don't have to do call to the public, but when you have call to the public, it allows a person to come up and speak to what would be the jurisdictional venue of whatever board or commission. And obviously, we can have some reasonable time limits. Again, with the call to the public, you don't get to respond. Your best bet is to, if there's a topic that they present, direct staff to address it with the person individually or bring it back for another matter or another time on an agenda. If someone gets up in a call to the public and calls you no good, dirty dogs or something and just really calls you out for something, you do have the option to respond. I would suggest you don't, because then you engage in a discussion that could carry on from meeting to meeting or go online or something. Your best bet is just let them say what they want to say, have a thick skin. Next. Next. The public has the right to attend, listen, tape record, video. They just can't speak unless it's a hearing or call to the public, and they can't disrupt. Next. Sanctions, generally what you'll see is sanctions is in an unintentional violation, it's education. So what we're doing right now, but in a slower manner, we would just come back and just talk about what happened and how we avoid it. The Attorney General's office really isn't looking to punish people. They just want to make sure you're educated and know what we're doing. We just want to stay everybody out of trouble to make sure the public can hear what we're doing. Next. Conflict of interest, we've talked about that in the past. If you have any kind of fiduciary or pecuniary interest in the topic before you, need to take a step back. That step back would just recuse yourself, fill out some paperwork from the clerk's office, and remove yourself from the dais, either sitting back there or outside the room. If we have conflict of interest questions, contact me. We'll always talk about it. It's best if you do it prior to the meeting. When you get the agenda, you see it, let me know and we can figure it out. There's some exceptions to those conflicts, which are listed on the next couple slides that you can show. I am not going over them. Keep going. Those are called remote interest. Next slide. That's page 1, page 2. We have a discussion about that when we get to that point. Those are the statutes regarding conflict of interest. Now we're going to the next slide, which is parliamentary procedure. Again, this is the rules of how you run the meeting. The chairperson is running the meeting. If one of the persons or one of the board or commission members wants to ask a question, get attention of the chair. If there's any motions that you're making, you say, I move to do this. You work for a second. The chair can make motions, the chair can second motions, and obviously the chair gets to vote on those motions. After you make the motion, gets seconded, then you either discuss it again or you call for the vote and take your vote. Next. Obtain the floor, make your motion. Next. Next, I think that's the end. The only thing we may come into contact, which are issues, I think it happened at one of these meetings before because we have 4 members. We could get what's a tie vote. Tie votes fail. So if there's a motion to approve something and it's 2-2, it fails. So that's it in a nutshell, and I think we're ready to go unless you guys have a question for me. Awesome.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you very much.
I could take longer if you want.
Item number 2, approval of minutes. Regular meeting minutes of the Board of Adjustments, November 7th, 2024. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I need a second.
I second it.
And a roll call vote.
Board Member Frederickson,
Approved.
Board Member Hilton,
Yes.
Board Member Maroney,
Approved?
Board Member Russell.
Approved.
All right, thank you. Item number 3, call to public, comments from the public. Those wishing to address the commission should fill out request forms in advance. Comment from the public will be restricted to items not on the agenda, with the exception of those on the consent agenda. There will be no comments allowed that advertise for a particular person or group. Comments should be limited to no longer than 3 minutes. The commission may not respond to speakers during the call to public. The commission may direct the city manager to study the matter or request that the matter will be placed on a future agenda. And do I have any from the public? I see none. All right, thank you. Item number 4, appointment of chairperson and vice chairperson for 2025. At the beginning of each year, the board needs to choose a chairperson and vice chair per discussion, if possible. And then I will ask if there are any nominations to volunteer to serve as a Board of Adjustments chair. I'll take the duties.
You're willing to do it
I'm
again?
willing to do it.
We do it so seldom, you're gonna get good at it sooner or later.
And then do I have an appointment or a motion for the vice chair?
I'll take it.
Sounds good, he should do that.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor for both chair and vice chair?
Aye.
Aye. All approved. Thank you. And then item number B, public hearing, VA 24-0002, reconsideration to allow for egress from Wallapai Mountain Road. Reconsideration of variance request VA 24-0002, originally approved November 7th, 2024, to rescind the stipulation restricting access to right in, right out from Wallapai Mountain Road for a proposed convenience store and fueling facility. The request is necessitated by the findings and approval of the traffic impact analysis by the city engineer. If approved, driveway access would allow for unrestricted full turn movements from Wallapai Mountain Road. The subject property is located at northwest corner of Wallapai Mountain Road and Eastern Street. APN 321-16-054A. And then staff presentation.
Thank you, Ashley. Good evening. I'm here to present to you variance case number VA 24-002, reconsideration of a variance along Wallapai Mountain Road and Eastern Street. The property owners are the Shuffler family. Applicant Greg Fritz of Seabury Fritz Architects. The requested action is a reconsideration of variance request VA 24-0002, which was originally approved on November 7th, 2024. This request is to rescind the stipulation restricting access to right-in, right-out from Wallapai Mountain Road for a proposed convenience store and fueling facility. This is an aerial image of the subject site. As you can see, it's along Wallapai Mountain Road and Eastern. Some of the background history on the site: it is part of the original incorporated town site in 1952. It was zoned C2 on a map circa 1969. It was zoned C2 HMR, Commercial Community Business, Wallapai Mountain Road, on June 4th, 2007 zoning map. Property is currently vacant and is the proposed location of a convenience store and fueling facility. On November 7th, 2024, variance case VA 24-0002 was approved with a condition to submit a traffic impact analysis to be reviewed and approved by the city engineer prior to approval of a site plan or building permits. The traffic impact analysis was submitted to the city engineer on December 20th of 2024, and it was determined that restricting ingress to right-in, right-out from Wallapai Mountain Road was not warranted. The traffic impact analysis supported full turn or unrestricted ingress and egress from Wallapai Mountain Road. The original variance request was approved on November 7th, subject to certain conditions, one of which required the applicant to submit a traffic impact analysis per City of Kingman design standards to be reviewed and approved by the city engineer prior to approval of a site plan or building permits. Although requested at the time, the applicant had not yet completed the traffic impact analysis, which was why staff recommended the added stipulation and restricted access. The traffic impact analysis has since been submitted to the city engineer for review, and it was determined that the restricted right-in, right-out access was not warranted and full turn movements are permissible. The traffic impact analysis did warrant the construction of a dedicated right turn lane at Wallapai Mountain Road and Eastern Street, and to participate in the fair share cost of a future signal at the intersection. Staff has brought this request back before the Board of Adjustment, seeking reconsideration and rescission of the stipulation for right-in, right-out access. This was sent out to external agencies for comments and internal agencies. No comments have been submitted to the city regarding this proposal as of March 12, 2025, the date the staff report was completed. The city engineer provided a supplemental memorandum included in the staff report. The site was noticed according to state statute. A public notice regarding the request was published in accordance with the statute in the Kingman Daily Miner on March 12th of 2025, and the surrounding property owners were noticed within 300 feet on March 10th. The site was posted with a public notice sign regarding the requested variance on March 11th of 2025. Struggling here with the top of the slide. But you have several options before you tonight. The first option for approval would be to grant the revision to the previously approved variance. The Board of Adjustment, in accordance with subsection 2-70.050 of the City of Kingman zoning code, finds that as a result of the traffic impact analysis review by the city engineer, the approval of the variance to section 4-20.040B6 is amended to remove the condition of approval restricting the ingress and egress to right-in and right-out turn movements from Wallapai Mountain Road and subject to conditions of approval. Or you have option 2 to deny the revision to the previously approved variance. And the Board of Adjustment, in accordance with subsection of the Kingman zoning code, finds that the language of the original approval should be retained. Any questions or comments?
I did, I have a question. So you're talking about a turn lane on Wallapai Mountain Road. So is that going into the, like, the middle divider area now on,
I bel-
are we going,
defer
we're talking
to the
about,
city
we're talking
engineer.
about coming, going east on Wallapai Mountain Road, and there's gonna be a turn lane in the middle? Is that what you're talking about, or what's the turn lane?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, staff members, or board members. I'm Mike Garman, I'm the acting city engineer. I reviewed the TIA. There's actually 2 turn lanes that are being warranted.
Okay,
One is into the access itself off of Wallapai Mountain Road, and the other one is the westbound movement from Wallapai Mountain Road onto Eastern, so that you don't have problems with people with traffic backing up on
I'm
these.
still confused, I'm sorry.
Let's see,
So,
can we, let's go back and look at
I'm
that.
confused on where it is.
Okay,
Okay, there we go.
all right,
Show me where
so
this is.
the there's 2 proposed access. There's one right here,
Right,
and then there's another one right here.
just like Gas and Grub is down the street. Yeah,
Right.
okay,
And so they would put in a turn lane here, and then they would put in a turn lane here to keep this
Okay.
traffic from backing up onto Eastern.
I gotcha. Okay, that's what I was
Right.
hoping for. And so nothing's happening actually on Eastern itself. There's not gonna be any kind of a special, like, they're not taking out a little bit of their property to do an extra lane on Eastern? No, okay.
No,
All right.
they would have to put in this turn lane, and one of the things they'd have to do is actually relocate this access. This is really close to the intersection, and probably put it over here.
Okay,
And then eventually, a turn signal would be warranted here, and they would
Yeah.
participate in that
yeah,
as
that'll be
well.
better. Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Is the entrance off of Wallapai Mountain Road, is there something in the code where it has to be so far, I guess say west of Eastern?
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm glad you brought that up. The lot here has about more than 600 feet of frontage. And they have to be a minimum distance from this little radius here. They have to be 200 feet from that one, and they have to be 200 feet from this one on Washington. Per the city regs, they actually have enough room probably for 2 accesses there if they needed it. So just the one access fits in just fine.
The second question now, when, on the traffic study, that's done at today's standards with a proposal of 250 homes going just east of there, and then Angle has rights to, they're off of,
Right,
off of
the-
Yavapai, another 200, is that gonna be,
The TIA accounted for future traffic on Wallapai Mountain Road, as well as the Black Rock subdivision that's going in, that Engel's proposing.
okay. Any other questions?
Is there an entrance off of Washington also?
They aren't proposing one off of Washington.
So just the 2 entrances?
I don't think, I'm sorry.
If I may, Chair, just real quick, for the site plan that we have reviewed for this project site, they have oriented the fueling facility towards the eastern street side. So likely what will happen is they will sell the remaining portion, or they may have another development that comes in on it that they would share the site. But at this point in time, there's no no development on the westerly portion.
Thank you.
Will there be any restrictions on left turns off of Wallapai Mountain Road and onto Wallapai Mountain Road from the facility?
Restrictions, no, that's what the purpose of this particular variance request
Well,
is.
what I understood, this variance is for entrance and exit to the facility. What I'm talking about, for people going eastbound on Wallapai, want to make a left turn across traffic into the facility. Would there be no left turn signs there, or so they couldn't make, or people coming out of the gas station make a left turn to go eastbound on Wallapai Mountain Road? In other words, to eliminate
there-
any,
There would be
accidents.
unrestricted access, so they're gonna put in a left turn lane so that they'll have a turn movement, a left turn movement from Wallapai Mountain Road into the facility.
Okay.
okay,
And then they would have, people here could either make a left turn and go down Wallapai Mountain Road, or they can make a right turn and go
okay.
down Wallapai Mountain Road.
So that does, I was trying to remember that at that point, there is a double yellow line on Wallapai Mountain Road now, so they'd make that
Like
into
that
a
matters.
turn lane, yeah, okay.
I said like that matters. I'm sorry. I drive it every day, so I know, right? Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
with a
We
40-mile-an-hour speed limit out there,
Yeah.
I was just concerned about left turns and whatnot, taking that chance, so.
Thank
I
you.
have nothing else.
Any more,
Questions?
any more questions?
Not that I can.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll open it up to the public, and if there's any comments from the public. As I see none, it's closed to the public. Open up to discussion for the commission.
I'm just not real happy with people coming out of the facility and making a left turn onto,
Yeah, but it's just like gas and grub, because you're not supposed to. They got the double yellow
yeah,
line there, you're not
but
supposed to do
you have
that.
an intersection really close, and then you've got people wanting to make the turn,
Yeah,
and I'm just, from my police background, there's gonna be a bunch of accidents there. Especially with people coming at 40 mile, well, 40 my foot, they're
That's
50. They're 50 coming down, and so,
Well, there'll be a signal there eventually, so,
yeah, but eventually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
eventually,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully sooner than later.
yeah. I'm just not really sold on that left turn onto that close.
So you want, talking about making a left turn out of the facility, going eastbound
Right, and
on
then
the, on the Wallapai Mountain.
right, and then the intersection is right there, and, so you're gonna have people coming up wanting to get into the turn lane, and then you've got people coming out of the facility trying not to get into the left lane, but to get into the number 1 or number 2 lane to
What-
go straight on.
What, I don't know if it's a good example, but I'm sure we're all aware with the Maverick Station on Andy Devine and Airway. And I noticed, I've gone there numerous times, from Andy Devine, I don't know, that's what, the entrance in is 30, 40 yards from the intersection. And then the same thing with the entrance off of Airway. And of course, there's numerous accidents there, but for that reason. And then when you leave the Maverick onto Annie Devine, you can only go
Right.
one way because of the island.
Right.
And I'm maybe in the same lines as you are, Wes.
However, going along with that, a little further down Andy Devine from Bashes on up, you can make left turns out of the facilities onto Andy Devine.
Yes.
And I'm down there a lot, and with all the traffic and the speed they travel, I have not seen any real accidents. I've watched worse things with the pedestrians
Right.
trying to get
No.
across the
And,
road.
and I drive really several times a day past Gas and Grub. That's
Yeah.
just, that's my way.
Yeah.
And it's exactly, set up exactly like this. I mean, I'm sure they've had a few things there, but it hasn't been a huge problem, has it, over there?
I'm not aware of any major
Yeah.
incidents.
Yeah, and I understand your feelings, I do, but it's hard to let Gas and Grub and not Circle K be there because, you know, we don't like the way that the turn lane is, but, yeah. I personally
But
would
Ga-
like a turn lane.
Well, at Gas and Grub, they've got 2 entrances.
They do.
You know,
And,
so you
and
have
these guys
people,
have enough room, you said, for that, but they're only
You know,
thinking,
making
you
the
probably
right
won't know
turn
until it's done, whether they'll
a
do
little
2 or
farther
1.
down from the pumps.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
where
it
the,
is
where the
nicer.
people park and,
Well, according to the diagram, that's what this one will have too.
yeah.
One on, be just like Gas and Grub, one on Wallapai, and then one on, Eastern.
Eastern, right?
Well, we get a motion to,
Well, like I
to
said,
approve.
at the last meeting, I find it hard to deny this
Yeah.
because there are so many right on Wallapai Mountain Road that have the same situation.
Yeah.
So I would make a motion that we approve
Oh.
the variance.
I'll second it.
Approve,
Number 1.
one.
Now,
Could we get that brought back up on the screen, please? So we're all on the same page, we know what we're discussing?
Thank you, Joel.
Chair, so the option would be to approve to rescind the condition restricting the or the right in and right out, or leave the variance as is. That would be the 2 motions that you have before you. If there's a concern amongst the board, and the board also wanted to continue it until the applicant had an opportunity to speak, that would be an option as well.
So you're going with option one?
Yes.
And I'll second that.
So I have a motion, I have a second. Roll call vote,
Chair Frederickson,
approve.
Board Member Helton,
Approve.
Vice Chair Maroney,
Approved.
Board Member Russell,
Approved.
motion approved.
All right, item number 5.
Chair, if I can interrupt real quick, if we can go back to the nominations for the chair and vice chair, if we can repeat that, we need to take each of those separate. So if we can do a motion for the chair and then do an actual recommendation, second, vote, and then come back and do the vice chair.
All right, let me redo this again. I will not run for chair.
It's your second chance.
Okay, is there any nominations on volunteer to serve as the Board of Adjustments Chair? And I will be glad to do the honors as chair.
So we would need a nomination.
So,
I thought there was a nomination made, but I
Yeah,
will
we gotta-
nominate the present chair to redo it again this year.
And I second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear none. All right, Wes, you're taking off, and we're gonna determine if you wanna be on again.
Okay.
Okay, I like to ask her to make a motion to volunteer as Board of Adjustments Vice Chair, and I'll make a motion for Wes Maroney to be Vice Chair.
And I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I hear none. Wes, congratulations.
Yeah.
You too.
You want it or not.
Gotta make it lighthearted.
Yeah.
All right, item number 5, reports. Are there any reports from staff?
Chair, Commissioners, no reports tonight.
All right, thank you. Item number 6, announcement by board members, limited to announcements, board and commission liaison reports, availability, attendance, and conferences and seminars. I see none by the board members. Item number 7, request for future reports and updates. And then, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second
I
that
have a
motion.
motion, I have a second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? I see none. Thank you.